Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. So there's this petition going around, started by Crypto Bitlord, and has 300 signatures, and it recommends that Ripple no longer release the supply of XRP, instead burning it, so the price will go up like the good old days. Now, should Ripple do this, and will Ripple do this? The answer is no. The answer is no and no. I'll actually explain why. Will Ripple do this? That's an easy no, because this is a large source of net worth and money for Ripple. And the stock price of Ripple, even though it's private, is directly related to this. So remember, when you buy XRP, you don't actually buy shares of Ripple. So you don't actually own any of the company. You don't have voting rights, and you don't have a say in the company. Just because you own XRP, that does not mean you own shares of Ripple. So, and Ripple is more beholden to its shareholders than its XRP holders. Ripple actually has zero responsibility to its XRP holders, but it is very much beholden to its shareholders. They have the voting rights. At least the ones that own the common stock, anyways, and they have a lot of say in the company. So it wants to increase the wealth of its shareholders, not the wealth of XRP holders. The thing is, if they burn all their XRP, obviously that takes $15.5 billion. It just erases it from their books. So there is no way they're actually going to do that. They're not going to burn any of it. That is a big source of their net worth. It might even be half the company or more, their holdings of XRP. So they're just not going to throw it in the trash can. No company is going to throw $15 billion in the trash can, because that's absolutely ridiculous. No matter how many signatures it gets. Those signatures don't actually mean anything, because those signatures are from XRP holders, and once again, they do not hold any share in Ripple, the company, so they have zero say in what the company actually does. So Ripple's not going to listen to that, and this is all pretty idiotic anyways, because they shouldn't do it, because Ripple actually needs that XRP to incentivize the ecosystem. Remember, when they bought MoneyGram, they needed XRP they need XRP right now to get MoneyGram started. Same thing with Mercury FX. And they need to give the exchanges like Bitso enough liquidity, or sell the exchanges enough liquidity, so they can actually operate XRapid. And plus, I highly doubt it's actually Ripple dumping XRP on the market that's actually causing the price drop. Remember, toward the second half of the Q2, which is about 2 months ago, they said they actually greatly decreased the amount they were selling, especially programmatically. And it's been about 1.5 to 2 months since that, and the price has not reflected that at all, because I really don't think Ripple dumping or Ripple selling XRP on the over-the-counter market, or even on the open market, is the reason for XRP's price non-increase or slight price decrease over this year. I personally think there's just not enough demand to meet supply, and the recent happenings over the last 2 months have actually confirmed what I actually suspected, because Ripple has stopped dumping so much, or Ripple has stopped selling so much programmatically onto the market, as they said in their quarterly report, and that has not affected the price of XRP at all. You have other people like Jed and a couple of other whales dumping, but they're going to keep dumping regardless. And the thing is, one of my subscribers actually asked me, well, do you really think that these companies are going to stop buying Ripple if XRP stops selling at the OTC price very cheaply? I'm like, yeah, there's a good chance that a lot of them will. And I actually think that's what happened. Since they're not able to buy bulk at a cheap price, they just stop buying. And because you have decreased supply, that kind of affects the demand as well. It usually doesn't in most markets, but this one it actually kind of did, because if the supply suddenly shrunk and the demand was the same, the price would actually get pushed up. But since Ripple shrunk the supply, it seems like the demand from those people that were buying XRP actually shrunk as well, so they kind of equaled each other out. So they equal each other out, and there's no move in the price. So I really don't think, based on what Ripple actually said in their last quarterly report, that they were going to tone down the amount they're selling onto the market. I really don't think it's Ripple dumping. I think that theory doesn't have many legs, because of what they actually said in their last quarterly report. And this petition is kind of useless, because Ripple just can't burn 50% of its total supply like this petition actually wants it to. And I don't really place the blame on Ripple for the price of XRP not increasing. I actually place the blame on people who hype this XRP stuff up. Remember, Ripple is not really the source of any of this hype. It's random YouTubers, it's random Twitter people that actually hype this thing up. It's like the boy who cried wolf way too much. Because, especially like last year at the beginning of this year, it was always like, Swift, XRP, giant bank, XRP. They're going to integrate XRP and it's going to shoot the price up to hundreds of dollars all of a sudden, or tens of dollars all of a sudden. Obviously, when the dates actually came, none of that actually happened. So now when you cry wolf, no one actually listens. With this Fed thing, when you say like the Federal Reserve is going to use XRP, obviously no one listened to that. That's also untrue. But I mean, no one's going to listen to that hype. Even in cases like MoneyGram, in the rare cases like MoneyGram where it's actually where the news is really true, you've cried wolf way too often, and people just aren't going to believe that anything's going to happen. And when the utility or when the volume and utility doesn't match, doesn't bring the price up very quickly, people just kind of think, well, yeah, it's just another it's just more hype, so they don't really buy in. Same thing with SBI and MoneyGram. It used to be last year people took a kind of like almost a buy now and then wait for price to go up. But now they're taking more of a wait and see approach. And since the wait and see approach doesn't really work in terms of FOMO, because none of this stuff actually brings up the volume to actually bring price up, people aren't willing to FOMO into it. It's kind of it's the boy who cried wolf too many times, and now people are just taking a much more conservative approach to XRP in general. And that doesn't do well if you want the price to go up, because based on utility, XRP really doesn't need to be any more expensive than it is right now. So we might have a long way to go before the price comes up. So you're actually waiting for billions and billions of dollars in volume, which is going to take probably several years, or you're waiting to actually you're waiting for a general market pump, which might actually happen next year, in my opinion. But then major altcoins like Ethereum and XRP really aren't going to go much more than anything else. So you're still going to make money once that general market pump occurs, but I don't think nearly as much as last time. So essentially, I mean, this is a case where people just hyped it up too much, and then people don't really believe the hype anymore, so they're taking a wait and see approach. Like some of the newer cryptos, there hasn't been as much hype. There hasn't been that many connect the dots theories. So when they actually come out with a large announcement, the coin does actually pump. Now it does eventually retrace most of the time, but even though it does retrace, people still get excited for announcements from said coin. So it will actually have some price action, and there is actually swing trading to be done on those coins. And there are coins like Quant which have pumped up and have not gone all the way down, obviously. Not really sure about Quant because it still might go down further. But right now, it's actually maintained, an increase from $2 to $8 or $9. So that's the thing. This petition doesn't really make much sense, neither from a will Ripple do it perspective or should Ripple do it perspective, because Ripple has full rights to actually hold their XRP and sell it to incentivize the ecosystem and to make themselves some money. And because Ripple is actually beholden to its shareholders and not XRP holders, there's zero reason for them to actually burn it. So this will not happen. And really, this petition doesn't actually make much sense. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you and have a nice day.